A Search for the Creator with Stephen Hawking. Hello, it's my pleasure to introduce you to this hypothetical discussion. Hawking and Melodino, in their book The Grand Design, declared that spontaneous creation is the reason why this universe exists. It does not require a God. Whether one is an atheist or a theist, exchanging views is desirable. Truth and peace deserve the effort. In the book titled The Grand Design, GD, authored by Hawking and Melodino, they write, spontaneous creation is the reason there is something rather than nothing. Why the universe exists, why we exist. It's not necessary to invoke God to light the blue touch paper and set the universe going. In short, they substituted spontaneous creation for the Creator God. They made a spontaneous creation process a creator, but they ruled out the real Creator God simply because he is not observable to them, or because they did not recognize him. They made a tedious scientific journey in the body of the universe using all the advanced tools that they could handle, but they did not find a creator who is busy working hard to expand the universe or maintain it. They are truthful because God is not observable, but not observable is not equal to does not exist. 1. Attributes of the soul. If you ask a group of our best surgeons and scientists with their best sophisticated tools to find the soul inside the human body, they'll for sure fail to find the soul in the human body. It's there, but they will fail to point to it. At the moment, we have no answer why they fail. If we ask a group of our best scientists to model the soul, as we model gravitation or the electromagnetic field, at present they will fail to find a model for the soul. Again, at the moment, we have no answer why they fail. Failure of the surgeons and scientists to find the soul inside the human body, and failure of the scientists to model the soul, does not mean the soul does not exist. It does not qualify the scientists to declare that modern science suggests that the soul does not exist. The reason is that because even a layman is sure that soul exists, the difference between life and death is the soul. For similar reasons, our best scientists will fail to find God in the body of the universe, and definitely at present they will fail to find a model for God. The scientific tools we use to study the observable universe may be unsuitable for the study of soul and God. 2. Limits of knowledge. The theory that the universe creates itself from nothing may be true. We observe a matter with a positive energy of matter and a gravitation with a negative gravitational energy appear simultaneously together, and the whole universe evolves through them. But that does not mean that there is no agent which causes this to happen for a purpose deemed by the agent. Our knowledge keeps increasing. Until recently, physics and chemistry knew but two forms of existence, matter and energy. Recently, the scientists talk about two other forms, dark matter and dark energy. We should add to the list from the bank of human experience and history, soul, spirit, jinn, Satan, angel, and God. This chart displays the current degree of knowledge about various types of existence: matter, energy, dark matter, dark energy, soul, jinn, Satan, angel, God. It can be seen that we know something about matter and energy, but our knowledge about the soul and God is marginal. In the observable universe, the designer of a system cannot be part of the system, because the process of designing needs intelligence and time, while executing the design needs energy. You solve the problem of the energy by telling us that the total zero is composed from a positive energy due to matter and an equal amount of negative energy due to gravitation. But as for the intelligence and time, you simply ignore the issue. The design must be available before the start of constructing the system. Constructing a multi-story building cannot start unless the design is made ready. Similarly, constructing the heavens, galaxies, the solar system, the earth, and life on earth, the appearance of humans, cannot start without a plan. The plan and the design must have been prepared before the start. Vacuum or nothing cannot be that intelligent designer of the universe, including humans. We observe what is seemingly a chaos, which develops into an order, but this is so by a law, a natural law, which allows chaos to develop into an order. God's words are natural laws for the creatures, including fundamental particles and vacuum. Development of order from chaos and development of a whole universe like ours from nothing are but signs of the attributes and capabilities of God. 3 attributes of gravitation. If one asks where is gravitation, or does gravitation really exist, or show me gravitation if it's a real thing, we know that gravitation exists everywhere, but no one can see it, and no one can hear it, or touch it, or even point to it. You cannot point to it because it is not located at a certain place, and because it is not an object. Gravitation can be conceptualized, but it cannot be recognized. It cannot be encompassed. You cannot point to it. It is there right from the start, and it is with us in every instance, but no one can feel it, although it affects everybody, every instant, everywhere. We die, but gravitation continues to exist. You may try to convince the person who asks by pointing to the phenomena or trace or effect of gravitation on bodies, but he or she may rightfully object that this is an explanation for these phenomena by something you call gravitation. But is gravitation a real thing? The same logic applies to questions about God, presumably the invisible agent which causes the creation. Where is God? Or is God a reality? Or show me God if he is a real thing. One way to answer these questions will be something similar to those in regard of gravitation. Mostly you will define God, the invisible agent which causes the creation, through his trace or through some phenomena, because God, like gravitation, exists everywhere and affects everybody, and he is there right from the start, and he is with us every instance. Nonetheless, most of us do not feel his presence. This does not mean that gravitation is God or vice versa, because God is a living agent, but gravitation is a non-living tool. As for the unseen gravitation, we developed tools to model mathematically its observable effect on bodies in the universe. But as for the unseen God, up to this point we are unable to model mathematically his interaction with the different objects in the universe. Examples are good tools to clarify certain concepts and issues. God has some attributes similar to gravitation. It's with us everywhere, every instant, We are immersed in gravitation, yet we do not feel its presence. Shall we deny gravitation because we do not feel its presence? Shall we deny gravitation because we are unconscious about its presence? On the other hand, some of the attributes of the God are similar to those of the soul. It is with us, gives us life, it penetrates our flesh, yet we do not feel it. Shall we deny the soul because we do not feel its presence? Shall we deny the soul because we are unconscious about its presence? Shall we deny the soul because our scientists are unable to describe it or model it? 4. Not observed doesn't equal does not exist. We cannot observe God in the universe, but that does not mean that there is no God. Dear Professor Hawking, I did not intend to address this talk to your person. I do not bother whether you are an atheist or not. That's a personal matter and everyone is free. But your book, The Grand Design, had made a great impact. Although it's a very illuminating book in the history of human thought, yet as a side effect, the atheists all over the world, including the region where I am from, use your name and fame to support their claim that there is no God. They say, look, here is the greatest physicist of the day, Stephen Hawking, which says there is no God. I do not bother about the claim of the atheists that there is no God. However, I think the claim that modern physics, cosmology and science suggests that there is no God is a misinterpretation and a misconception. What modern physics, cosmology and science suggests is that we do not see God in the universe. And this is true, no one can see God. But that does not mean there is no God. 5. Process and agent. For example, in the falling apple case, the falling is a process and it's visible to everybody, but the agent which causes the fall, that is to say the gravitation, is not visible. Furthermore, most people do not recognize the gravitation, the agent. What's the hidden agent which transforms the soil, water, air and light into plants, transforms non-living to living, in a sense creates life? We must be able to model this agent before attempting to say anything about God. The spontaneous creation suggested by Hawking and Melodino is an observed creation process, but the agent which causes spontaneous creation to work is invisible. The agent could be named the invisible God or any name. We need a definition for this God, and we need more information about it. 6. Science and scientists. Human science is a product of the thought of some scientists. Yet we must differentiate between the opinion of a scientist and the opinion of science. Scientists may take a position over some issue which is proven later to be wrong or inaccurate. Therefore, an opinion cannot be honored as the opinion of science unless we are fully certain that it is the final answer of the scientific community. It's related that Einstein was suspicious about the reality of quantum mechanics. He also called his opinion in regard of what is now known as the cosmological constant his greatest blunder in his life. Refer to page 162, Grand Design. Also, we come to know that Stephen Hawking was suspicious about the reality of the Higgs boson, but after its discovery in 2012, he acknowledged its existence. So the opinion of a scientist is not equivalent to the opinion of science. The opinion of Hawking about creation and God cannot be honored as an opinion of science until we are fully certain that it is the final answer of the scientific community. To declare that the agent which causes the creation, or the God, does not exist, we must search every possible existence and prove that he does not exist. At the moment, no one has conducted such an exhaustive scientific search using appropriate means and tools. Therefore, at present, we cannot declare that science has proved that God does not exist. 7. Use of automation. With the advances in scientific knowledge and technology, we try now to make most of our jobs easy by incorporating robots and automation. If a God exists with such a capability to create this universe, then he, like us, might tend to incorporate automation in all his designs and creations. If this universe has a creator, let us call him God or any other name, then our presence indicated that he must be very intelligent and sophisticated. And the vastness of the universe indicates that he or it must be very mighty. Such a mighty, intelligent, and sophisticated creator, or God, the agent which causes the creation, is expected to assume all his jobs, designs, and creations in a very sophisticated way, using automation extensively, and all his designs and creatures will evolve in a very automatic fashion. Even if you perform a careful examination, you will not find any trace of God's immediate involvement. Further, you will not be able to observe the tools which are involved in the process of creation or manufacturing. You will observe the atoms, molecules, and the cells do their work in a fully automated manner, and this is the puzzle. How these atoms, molecules, and cells know what they should do. In manufacturing every creature, the atoms move according to a certain plan, a well-designed plan. This is true for the manufacturing of every creature or phenomenon in the universe, including the universe itself. Plants, birds, animals, fishes, clouds, rain, storms, earthquakes, etc. The universe itself evolves in a fully automated manner. For us, the universe appears spontaneously from nothing in an automated manner, as depicted by Hawking in his book, but this does not mean there is no God involved. In order for such a statement to be accepted as a fact, an irrefutable proof must be provided. The spontaneous evolution from nothing in an automated manner may well be a testimony to the sophistication and majesty of the Creator God. 8. Extent of observability. The Creator God, by design, had made himself non-observable to us, but he honored his creatures, especially the human race, by a private link with him, whereby through this special link he may issue orders to the creatures, or intervene or otherwise receive requests from them. If there is a God who created this universe, then it is expected that he encompasses the whole universe and controls the whole universe, and such an entity will be undetectable by our scientific means. A robot can understand us only to the extent which we have made it capable of. Similarly, we, the humans, can understand God only to the extent which he himself has allowed us to know him. We, individuals, differ in the degree of our understanding of God and acknowledging him because our history of evolution has gone through different roads. As our fingerprints are different, our feeling for God will be different. This is so because the real God is not an observable object which we all agree upon once we see him. 9. The link. The Creator, God, by design and for purposes not clear to us, has allowed for links to himself and links to other invisible creatures made by him. God has honored the human race by a private link with him. The easiest way to recognize God, to the extent that he himself allowed, is through activating this link. Some attributes of the link to God are similar to some attributes of the link to Internet. Both are invisible and private. Internet now hosts more than 1 billion accounts. God hosts innumerable accounts. Most of us are connected to the Internet. The link is invisible and very personal. Each individual has his or her own code number. That's so by design of the system. Furthermore, most of us have more than one account, e.g. an account with Yahoo, Google, Facebook, a bank account, etc. Every account is personal. My accounts are different from yours, and so on. Similar to the links to Internet, every human is connectable via invisible links to certain universal invisible sites provided by the designer of the universe. The links are personal and private. Again, there may be a number of different accounts. There are links and accounts that connects you with the Satan, the devil. And there are links and accounts which links you to God. You have to choose and activate the right link. So if you desire to know him, you must activate the special link provided, which is through your heart and mind. The easiest way to recognize God to the extent that he allows is through acknowledging him directly as one's creator and Lord. As when a child acknowledges his or her mother, in a sense creator and Lord, and turns towards her for assistance and guidance. The tools are one's mind and heart. Feeling the presence of a God is a personal experience. It is not a common experience as with hearing through our ears and seeing through our eyes. That's so by design. The concept that God is beyond conceptualization and beyond modeling is not mine. It's one of the fundamental principles of the religion known by the name Islam. Most Muslims in theory worship the real God, but in practice some groups of them adopt an understanding of God that serves their narrow interests. That's why some of them fight each other vigorously. 10. Concepts of God and the real God. Religion is a part of human's life. Therefore, politicians always attempted to use religion for their own purposes. This led to a distorted version of religion and hence a distorted concept of God. Some scientists like Hawking, Darwin, etc. justifiably detest the concept of God propagated by some religious figures and bodies, because the attributes of God propagated by these figures are not acceptable as attributes of a real creator God. Most followers of practiced religions unfortunately worship some entity which is not a valid version or image of the real God. These gods cannot be the creators of the universe. Throughout the history of mankind, we had personalities such as Muhammad, Jesus, Moses, Joseph, Abraham, Noah, etc., who urged humanity to worship the real God, not to worship idols, not to make associates or equals to the real God. Most people do not listen to them and continue to worship either idols or else make equals to the real God. Unfortunately, most people tend to avoid the real God and carve concepts which suit them. The Copernican model of the solar system, in which the Earth no longer held a central position, became a turning point in the scientific rejection of a human-centered universe, and led to clashes with some religious bodies. At that time, the Catholic Church, which was supposedly representing God, took a wrong stand on the subject. The opinion of some religious man may not be a representation of the opinion of God. The opinion of the religious man may be erroneous, but the opinion of a true real God is never wrong. Similarly, the opinion of some scientists may not be a representation of the opinion of science. The opinion of the scientist may be erroneous, but the opinion of a true real science is never wrong. So misrepresentation is common on both sides. Even now, where supposedly scientific thinking is prevailing, we note some who tend to avoid the real God and carve concepts which suit them, such as natural selection and spontaneous creation, that they introduce and invent a false creator in order to substitute it for the real creator. There are some common mentalities between those who carve idols as false gods to be substitutes for the real God, and those who carve concepts as a false creator to be substitutes for the real creator. Because the real God in a way restricts human freedom, some humans tend to repel from the real God. 11. Feeling. The Creator God has provided humans with different types of feelings. These feelings act like a sensor, a subconscious sensor. You like or dislike something through them. I think no one denies the existence of human feelings. If modern physics and science at the present stage cannot mathematically model the human feelings, they cannot for sure mathematically model God. We may or may not have the same feelings even when we are exposed to the same circumstances. Feeling is the first stage of belief, but later it might develop with experience to a more advanced link to God, as it happens to those who are called prophets. So the lowest stage of belief in God is a feeling, and the highest stage is prophethood. A special stage is that of prophets that are at the same time messengers of God. A child's affinity towards his parents is a type of inner feeling towards the ones who, in a sense, created him and take care of him. It's an instinct. Similarly, there is an inner feeling towards one's creator, albeit it is subconscious. To acknowledge one's creator, one needs to activate the feeling. 12. Acknowledging favor. Humans grow up from childhood to old age, living with other individuals in a society. In a country on the planet Earth, he or she gets all the advantages of day and night, sun, air, water, vegetables, animals, etc. Humans start with their parents. He or she is raised by them. We owe our parents or those who raised us great favors. Similarly, we owe the owner, the Lord of the planet Earth, sun, and the sky a great favor. Creator God cannot be found as a result of mathematical computations. He cannot be found through measurements done through instruments. The Creator God is a singularity. He is altogether unlike all possible forms of existence. He is unique, nothing looks like him, and he is beyond the horizon of human intellect. He can be known only to the extent that he himself allows. To know him, one must activate the personal link provided by him. One way to know him is to use one's own heart as a detector and a receiver. Activate an inner feeling towards one's creator. Acknowledging parents' favor is a door to acknowledging the creator, the Lord of the universe, the God. You will not be able to find the real God until you acknowledge favors and until you are thankful. 13. Acting through the creator. The designer of this universe, God, is expert in designing automated systems. Every component of the universe looks as if it is automatic. The components match each other perfectly. We call it very naturally. The whole universe itself is made as an automatic system. Humans and universe both start from a small creature and evolve through what Hawking calls spontaneous creation. He sees you even if you are unable to see him. If he talks to you, he will talk to you through yourself, so no one hears him apart from you. If you want to talk to him, you may do so that no one else hears you apart from him. The link is very personal. He does everything through the creator itself. If he wants you to do something, he will make you do it without your conscience. That is, he will do it through yourself. Even on the day of judgment, he will judge you through yourself. This day it suffices yourself to be a reckoner upon you. 14:17 Al-Quran. Even in this case, things happen as if they are natural processes, or spontaneous processes, or natural selection processes. 14. Where they succeeded and where they missed the truth. The history of science throughout ages indicates that even though the scientists try their best, still their opinion turns out to be inaccurate or even wrong. We usually discover that these opinions were wrong sometime later. Hawking and Melodino, as scientists, did their best. They hit some points rightfully, but some of their generalizations missed the target. Hawking and Melodino were successful when they coined the word spontaneous creation to describe the creation processes in the universe, including the creation of the universe itself. But they missed the truth when they generalized it and claimed that this means that there is no God. Spontaneous creation cannot be considered as an indication and a valid proof that creation of the universe does not require God. Similarly, Darwin and his followers may be considered successful when they coined the word natural selection to describe the creation or evolution processes in living bodies, but they missed the truth when they considered natural selection as indication that creation processes in living bodies and the creation of life on earth does not require God. Natural selection cannot be considered as an indication and a valid proof that creation of life does not require God. The Almighty God is so sophisticated and advanced in technology that he does the thing through the thing itself. If he wishes to create something, it suffices him to say to it, be, and it will be. His word be is so compact, contains the whole design plan and the initial energy needed for that thing to become a being. God's word to creatures is an order, and most of the time it appears to us as a natural law. 15. God and we. If God is the creator, he is then in no need of anything, including us and our actions. He created us certainly for a purpose, but he is in no need of any one of us. He simply can discard us and create others in our place. How do you want to know an entity which has created the sun? Not just one sun, but billions of them. How do you want to know an entity which knows everything in the universe, including a single leaf falling from a tree, and even the weight of an atom? Not a leaf falls, but he knows it. 59:6 Al-Quran. Who knows the unseen, not hidden from him the weight of an atom in the heavens and in the earth, neither less than that nor more, but it is in an evident book. 3/34 Al-Quran. How do you want to know an entity which has created the universe that contains billions of galaxies, each galaxy containing billions of stars? Each star, like our sun, is a huge nuclear bomb that is some million times larger than our Earth. Earth is the home of billions of creatures like you. How do you want to know an entity which is eternal and continues forever? Neither time nor space can embrace him, yet he encompasses the times and spaces and everything else. The real God dislikes for you to humiliate yourself to other people and to everything except himself. Do not be arrogant. You need him. He is not in need of you, no matter how important you are. He simply, when he desires, discards you, and he is capable of creating thousands who are better than you. That's why humans must pray and prostrate, as a sign of our inability and need, and as a sign to glorify His Majesty. Humans have one of two choices. 1. Believe in a universe that creates itself through spontaneous creation. There is no need for a creator. 2. Believe in a universe that cannot create itself. There is a need for an alive, intelligent, powerful creator, God. An objection to the first alternative is that we humans, live intelligent objects in this universe, cannot create ourselves or sustain our life forever. So how non-living thing can create itself and create life in this universe? This universe cannot be the creator of itself. It must be created by an agent that can create universes like this universe. An objection to the second alternative is, if we agree that this universe has been created by an agent, a God, the question is then, who created God? An answer to this objection can be that the creator-agent God does not need a creator. Because he is a creator, he in a sense created himself. It's obvious for us that this universe cannot create and sustain itself, but the creator of this universe must be capable of that. The problem is that most of those who believe that this universe must have a creator God go astray. That is, they confuse the real God with an entity which is an image of God or a partial image of God, and it is not the real God. That's why we observe so many religions and cults. Each religion or faction has its own version of God. Had they all worshipped the same single, unique, real God, they would have united their beliefs and practices. Disputes between different religions and cults are as destructive as those between non-believers and believers. Scientific investigation and scientists may help humanity get out of this mess of different gods by prescribing the attributes of the real creator God, assuming that such a creator exists. The real God unites humanity, but different gods described by different groups will aggravate the differences more. The real God promotes peace everywhere, while the false gods cause war, bloodshed, and destruction. The relation between us and God is one between a living creature and a living creator. It must be built upon feelings. We need Him all the time. His response to us as a God depends on our response. That's our feelings and love towards Him. The relation is mutual and personal, so God is very close to our heart and mind. We just need to acknowledge His favors upon us. 16. The conclusion. The universe evolves as though it is a spontaneous creation, as described by Hawking and Melodino. But an invisible creating agent is needed to make it work. The creating agent, God, is so sophisticated that everything looks as though fully automated. God's relation to us is not like our relation to the Sun or the Milky Way galaxy, but a very private one. It's a link between a living creature and a living creator. The link is invisible and secure. Through the link provided by the designer, every one of us could be in immediate contact with God. He is very near to everybody, but He is invisible. He, by design, lets humans be free. He does not interfere unless it is very necessary. To know Him further, it is necessary to be from those who acknowledge His favor and are thankful. For the search to find Him, you do not need to go to the whole universe. You simply need to switch on your heart and mind. You do not need to be a scientist to know Him. He by design made Himself available even for an illiterate person. Scientists may help humanity by saving them from adopting false gods and introducing the attributes of the real God. Acknowledgement. Production of this presentation in this form was not possible without borrowing some images and photoshots from various sources from the internet. The author would like to acknowledge and thank the original sources of the images, as well as to acknowledge and thank Google, Yahoo, Microsoft, Intel, HP, YouTube, etc., who by God's leave provide the facilities which make such jobs possible. Thanks to all those who listened and or read the text.